Hey, hey, everybody. Yes, I'm Lady Hippy. You're at the bar for what that's worth. I wasn't here yesterday. Took a day off. I shouldn't not to do that because then my entire house falls apart like today. Luckily, we do still be straight up when we can divide and conquer. So I sent him to go do some errands, fairly important ones. So keep your fingers crossed. Tongue in cheek, people, tongue in cheek. Entertainment purposes only. That's how good I am. I'll be here all week, folks. No, I do not make money at this. That's how good I am. I don't have to. Let's see what we do today. I keep telling everybody when I'm up here, which is probably too often, so y'all can send that in if you want to. Get rid of the old lady. She talks too much. Just bring it. I'm fidgeting. I always fidget when I get up here at first. A lot of people ask me, how can you get up there and you can't see anybody, but you don't know if you're talking to a person, no persons, a million persons. That's the good deal about it. It's social Woodstock. We should be getting our asses up here and utilizing this free device. There is nothing usually in life that's free. Suffice it to say that this is, although we have to pay for the Wi-Fi and all of that. And for me, it keeps me in touch with what is going on in world affairs. And if you ask me, and probably won't, I keep hearing myself and a lot of other folks say, well, that's fracking biblical. Meaning, oh shit, we're talking about Revelation. And it's basically the baby boomers. However, some of their children and their children's children, I have a grown grandson, Army vet like me. Beautiful kid. 12-year-old granddaughter. Awesome girl. Beautiful daughter-in-law. Wonderful son. I only have one child. I have been fortunate enough to have a stepdaughter. My husband's beautiful girl. We had her since she was 13. Her oldest is now just finished up training where I used to train the nurses at BAMC, Brick Army Medical Center in San Antonio at Fort Sam Houston. And he had heard me talk about those times many times. I'm sure it was like a college campus. It was so freaking cool. So he wanted to do that, and he went as a nurse, and that's who I used to train. And so it was awesome. He even knew about Camp Bullis and all that before he went. He knew not to ask no questions because they would take him prisoner. I used to love that part. We tell them, don't ask. If you see us, don't ask us nothing. Pretend you don't see us. They didn't. So we'd have the Air Force capture. We'd go back and play some cards. Have a drink. We were at the beach. Just what they think we were doing. So I said it was a great bid. It was a really good gig. Being Army and having all that at your feet in your 20s is fracking awesome. So yes, I have been blessed, and on my stepdaughter's side, I have 3 beautiful step grandchildren. Like I said, the oldest is now I have to get Korea. I always forget because my grandson, by blood, came back from Korea just a little over a year ago. I think it was, might be 2 now, and so I don't want to get them mixed up because they took different career paths. It's not Fort Gordon. What do we know? I think it's Fort Eisenhower. And I liked Ike, so I think I'm right on that. Don't quote me. So, divide and conquer, off we went. Sent him I needed more booze. When I take a day off, and I mean the entire day, the only thing I do is what I absolutely have to do. Give the plants some water, feed the little waifs outside, feed the big cats inside. That's it. Litter box patrol. I do that 3 to 4 times a day. I hear people say they do that once a week. Even commercials. Oh, you're going to do it once a week? What? Seriously? They all have their own litter boxes, but it's got to be cleaned 3 or 4 times a day. So I don't know how people do that. But I've tested and made sure that when I walk in my door, I am not smelling cats. I smell pine sol, I smell carberry fish, maybe, what have you, but not cats. Because when I smell cats when I come in there, The cats go to ground because I've got a bucket on one side, a mop across my back. I got a sweeper over here. I got a broom over here. I got me a wet jet hanging on my wrist. And they don't get out of her way. She's pissed and she's got chemicals. And so I took yesterday off. So what happens today? The divide and conquer, because he took like the entire 4-day weekend off. He does it all the time anyway. I can't take a whole day off because I just start like this. I start fidgeting. I feel guilty. I'm not doing so. I don't know what it is, but I can't do it. But some days when I'm actually that tired, it's a federal holiday or bank holiday, as they say in England. Yeah. So you go, okay, I'm going to take this whole day. I'm going to do all the stuff I have to do. You know you're lying to yourself, but you're going to do that way because you know that the next day when you come out, and yes, I closed my bedroom door. My husband snores so bad it shakes walls. So he sleeps upstairs. We've made him an apartment literally upstairs. He loves it. So do I. You can't beat that shit with a stick. Oh. Sometimes it'll reach out just, and it isn't 10 o'clock in the morning. So I should be allowed. I don't know. I'm old enough to where I don't really give a shit. Here's the hole in my lip. Don't say it. It's just not enough for me to bother editing with. It's because I got distracted. We won't say by what. Yeah, I'm annoyed. Again, just to explain my stupid behavior this day, I don't care if we get one person who watches or if we get 10 million who watch, which would be really cool. I do not make money at this. I have no problem with becoming a paid member of YouTube. I don't think it's quite fair to take other people's videos, put them up and talk about them. Y'all know where the damn things are. Why would you have to watch me to see if I put up a video about some politician, the assassination attempt on our former President Trump? Twin paranormal, hey guys. And yeah, it's Lady Hippy, and we are at the bar. Hence the Fireball, which is a whiskey bomber with a cinnamon fireball at the end of it. Did you wake your ass up? You won't mind that you're doing 2 loads of clothes with fireman waiting. You're sweeping and mopping just the tile floors and making sure the grout is back to white again, because in a day and a half, everybody's walked over that with muddy feet. And yeah, for some reason, when you have white tile, and I've always hated white on flooring, I would love to shoot the dude who come up with that shit. Like menopause. Now they got that bitch right. After we hit that shit, it was men who were pausing. Oh, bitches up. I've always been like this, pray for my parents. Not the real ones, the ones who actually raised me. Not the bloodline. Yeah. And it turns out, there is something to that, I gotta say. Everybody knows I'm, as a lady hippie, you can guess my age or piss off. So I don't care. The great thing about this. Well, I keep telling everybody, get your ass up here. You do not have to broadcast yourself. Get up here and talk. I usually have live chat enabled, and I usually will use 2 screens, but I noticed I was doing that tennis ball shit for no reason. Most people who jump up here, I see that's a little loud. Most people that come in to see me will do so after I've already broadcast it, and left it up. I usually don't edit. What the hell for? I put my pant legs on the same as you do, one leg at a time. I don't care if you're the Queen of Sheba or if you're a homeless person, because we've all been there, except maybe that ultra rich and that 2%. And even most of them being Hollywood stars and so forth, they were eating top ramen too. Staying drunk because they live with 5 folk. Doing 2 jobs so you can do what you wanted to if you had 5 minutes. And then here I am retired. receiving my stipend of the thousands upon thousands of dollars they took from me in 50 years worth of work. Hey, so you have a lot to look forward to. They're going to tell you if you can have some, how much you can have. And they will make sure you stay below the poverty level on what they give you of your money. The other kick in the ass that I saw was Medicaid shows up, and it's an automatic thing. And they're going to take 169 or what have you out of your check per month. Where the flip did they go with the money they took for Medicaid and Medicare for 50 odd years of my fracking life? Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah. Yeah, that shit used to be like, oh man, you dwell on that for like more than 10 seconds. You're climbing the tower. And for my generation, y'all know what the hell I mean by that. I'm not going to elaborate. Look it up. I'm in that mood. So, of course, the first thing I saw was my shower. I've kind of strayed a little bit. I've been looking at the fact that, oh, yeah, the world's going to hell in a handbasket rapidly. Or as some would say, well, pedo. Very, very fast, folks. Very, 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 very fast. You can't turn on the telly. And I mind you, got rid of cable, got rid of satellite. I have just home Wi Fi. You still have TV. I don't like to watch it much. They do land on YouTube a lot. Since I'm actually one of the people who's on YouTube, again, this is why I say I don't drop stuff. I talk about whatever the hell crosses my mind. I really would love the input of those, especially in my generation, to go, what the shit is going on? It just, if you get your Bible out, and if you don't even want to do that, if you just want to put yourself up there, I do that a lot. I learn a lot of shit, though. I really do. And I have a great time, so I'm good with that. You got to go with camels floating in the Saharan desert, cannot be a good thing. Yeah. Two volcanoes erupting at one time in Italy. It's not a good thing. It's not going to end well. Earthquakes in Japan, California, Seattle. Probably not going to end well either. Then, of course, you have the hurricanes, tsunamis, tornadoes, locusts. No, I'm not kidding you. There was a fracking plague of locusts that hit Mecca, of all places, one of the three most holiest cities in Islam. Mecca, not Jerusalem. Three religious people out there. Everybody's concentrated in Jerusalem. Yet nobody seems to be defending it except for Israel. And nobody's defending their back while they're getting attacked by 7 countries. Not to mention the slaughter that went on October 7th. And if I catch one of you stupid asses, bring it. Be on my property and say something stupid to me with a megaphone. Besides owning the megaphone after they get it out of your ass. I do not play nice. Give it a grip. Come on. Wake the hell up. You don't have to have the coffee. That's what I was saying a minute ago. I switched to instant. I'm mainly with drinking this shit. And I saw what was going on in the world. And I said, well, maybe we should stockpile a few things. Because during the pandemic, my family did not notice. Now, my son took care of everything on his side. I'm talking about my immediate family. My husband and my grandson lived here at the time. He had just come out of the army. None of them noticed or even had a clue as to how much money it cost us to get through those 2.5 years. And it was high. It was high. What little bit I had put back was gone in the first year and a half. That last year was, I thought, the worst. It got worse than that. We've been out of the pandemic for what? Basically nearly 4 years because the election's coming around again. God knows what they'll do this time. They've done tried to kill the man. I don't, you know. I get people so stupid they get in my face and go vote. Get out of my face. And I'll do whatever the hell I please, just like you do. So you think that gives you the right to get in my face? Oh, please bring that shit to me. Please. Pretty please. With a cherry on top. Because I will school you, as they say here in Georgia. You better get right with God because you're going to be talking to him. You may not go to meet him, but you sure as hell will be talking to him. Yeah. The reason I also got out today is, again, you have to take the day off. You come out, you're armed with every cleaning supply in the house, and even the cats are going to ground because you are armed with chemicals and not afraid to use them. And so your husband ditches out, because he's not going to do that housework now, even if he's here, he's sick. Poor boy's sick a lot. It's okay. He's got his own apartment. I'm good with that. I clean for like fun at this stage. It's just there's no point in getting really pissed off about it because you're going to do it anyway. Those of us who don't want to wake up find we're hoarders with 15 rooms full of filth. Just here, there's two of us now, not three so far. It's costing me what it did cost me during the height of the pandemic. So that didn't go down; it went further up. Yeah. For some reason, we're still paying these rich, surly, now offense, Arabians more blood money. It's like the blood diamonds in Africa. How much blood did they need on their money? Then there have been things that have been invented, and I've seen them throughout my lifetime, and be squelched and then never heard from again, except for maybe on a couple of those channels that you guys call, oh, I forget what y'all call it. Y'all call it something. Everybody's got some problem with it, this, that, or the other, even me, which is surprising at all. So you have to go, okay, this ticks that box. This is it. How many more boxes can we tick before Revelation? We have to go, well, that bitch is kind of here now. The bitch that got me, and no, I don't apologize. This is why kids can't watch me. Yeah. So the reason that bothers me, although I'm getting hoary with age, is there was, look it up. It's a term. It's not a condition or a lifestyle. I'm not sure how you would word that nowadays. Like I said, the English language is the English language. I don't care if y'all would have put LB, Kiti, Kichi, Chichi, whatever the hell you want in it. It ain't got not a damn thing to do with me. That's your lifestyle. Call it what you will. In my lifestyle, we go, huh? But hippies are kind of a surfing city kind of thing. So we kind of try to stay on the top, just surf or not piss people off, not start the wave, just ride it out. Well, most of us got tired of doing that. I have. I've gotten tired of going, well, damn, that ticks another box for Revelation because it says, this generation shall not pass, which they've caught on to in the religious channels and the little spots I've seen. This generation shall not pass. Ere these things come true, your generation will see end times. Your generation will see the wrath of, well, God. Now, Jesus is real. I can't explain why that's more than a factor. It's not faith on my part. It's not faith. For one, I've got a huge problem with anybody that's going to be having to pay for my sins. No, you don't. But thanks, but no. Mm-mm. I'm responsible for my own damn sins. The rest of y'all would do that shit. We wouldn't have such a shitty planet. Just saying. I talk to all kinds of walks of life. I go to the VA. That's where I'm taken care of. The Veterans Administration, they got pretty good at streamlining that shit too. However, like I said, you got to sit back and you go, well, damn, this is kind of like the end time shit they've been talking about. Now what do we do with this? Well, not a hell of a lot. I started drinking, killed off the actual adopted family, and turns out the bloodline actually had a problem with that too. Although I used to drink fairly heavy with whiskey shots back in my day. I never missed a lick of work. And I did, we women always had either two jobs or a job in college. And we won't talk about the shit we had to do at home. That was never a job. That was just home. So we worked those 80 hours a week and we went back to college and we paid that $60,000 a year. So we would have a better life and pay for that house and pay for that car that we're never in except for the 20 minutes it took to get to here, there, back. While we tried to figure out what the hell we were going to feed our kid that week. It's the same thing for that generation as well. Although I am so proud of both the children, my son and my stepdaughter. They've gone on to very good careers. They're in the middle 40s. Don't say it. I'm only 42. I was young, okay? I have a bridge out back. I'm really not using if you're interested. Yes, I'm being facetious. So I kept checking out these boxes and I said, okay, well, maybe we should talk about this. I don't want to. I'm not one of them Bible thumpers. I'm not one of those you see food, Jesus. No, but Jesus is real. I'm not going to advocate either here or there. That's up to you. As to where I came to my epiphany, I could give a little background. Young girl died, went across to the other side, came back, started doing paintings. You can look her up just with that sentence. And she does wall size paintings. And I believe either her first or third, something, first three, she painted at this wall size thing of Jesus on canvas. I mean, as if she was, Van Gogh. He could walk off of that portrait, right off of that wall, and it wouldn't surprise me in the least. Not a bit. If you know what I mean, and I always lose sight of who she is. Her prints alone are like 180,000, especially for that one, I'm sure. But again, it's not the only one. You should look at her artwork. It's just, oh my God. They sent an angel back. They really did. There's nothing that touches her. Not Van Gogh, Leonardo da Vinci. None of them can touch this young lady on these paintings. And like I said, that painting was one of the first things that I learned about the young girl. And I've never been able to shake the fact that had he walked off of that, I would not have been surprised in the least. And I knew that this is a real person. Um, Irregardless, like I said, I don't believe in that you're going to die for my sin shit. But I don't have to say that because they know that. God, the other thing I don't get is if you're a supreme being, you're omnipotent, omnipresent, all that crap. Oh shit, whatever you want to term it. If you are that, why do you need people to worship you? Anybody show a hand? Yeah, I don't get that shit either. So that's always been a major draw point for me. You have 10 commandments, supposedly from God, written by God's hand. Well, the finger, when I understand. Until what's his name? Abraham got pissed and broke him. Who gets mad and breaks something from God? Not me. I don't give a shit what you're doing. I'm not breaking that shit. I would break a mirror. Are you kidding me? But then we're supposed to buy that shit. You have the 10 commandments. You got only 10 things you got to live by. Treat your neighbor as yourself. Don't steal, don't murder, don't cheat, whatever. Don't lust after the neighbor's wife or husband, whoever. Don't steal. I think I mentioned that whenever I get, don't envy. No gluttony. It's an actual sin. So those of us, and I'm one, who are weighing over what we should, that's called gluttony. That's what gout is. I got really highly pissed off at my semi-doctor. Never mind. Anyway, I saw where she had changed my diagnosis from nerve disorder to gout. I went, okay. So why the hell are you treating my back? And what the hell's wrong with it? Oh, that's just arthritis and you have nerve seizures. Okay, so is that gout? Oh, no. Hey, slap her again. It's a good thing my mother, adopted or not, raised me right, because even hitting my own hand, I'm like, ow. Think how hard I would have slapped that bitch. They frown on that. So I've only been able to take on an entire surgical team once. I won. The bitch was, I had to come back to the test again, and they actually kept me out for like 4 days. No, I'm kidding. They didn't want me to get up again. They didn't have to tell me the story, but they did. I laughed my ass off. I'm still laughing about that shit. When they see me at the VA, they're like, you don't need any procedures, and if you do, we're going to send a double team in. I'm an old woman. I'm a little 5'2" woman. I never took any shit. In my day, we had World War II parents, adopted or no, they were the parents. And that was respectful to me. I was adopted at 9. I was already reading college level at 8 or 9. So, yeah, poor babies. They didn't have but like 5th, 6th grade educations, literally. They walked to a one-room school. People don't think of that, about how long ago it was, especially for the baby boomers. The baby boomers are the World War IIers. In most cases, they did not go from World War II depression to World War II. The baby boomers are World War II and up. But I was adopted, and so that was a bit different. You didn't leave nothing on your plate. You didn't leave a mess anywhere, ever. You pulled your own weight. You didn't sass. Sass was a word back then. My kids tried to talk back, and when they got up, They decided it was not a good idea. I'll give you an example. One time, both the kids were in the back seat of my car. That's where I put them because it was safer for them, even though they were teenagers by then. I believe they were 14 and going on 13, not just but a little over a year apart. And I said, "You need to put your seatbelts on." And I kept saying this all the way across town. This is a small city. Um, I'm going to put seatbelts, put seatbelts. They didn't do it. And they just kept getting stupider. They forgot who the hell I was, especially my son. He should have known better. She hadn't been there that long by then. We had a big oak tree out front of the house, and you could come up the drive, say 12 feet away from it. I decided not to do that. I came in sideways and did a 360 in front of the tree and stopped in front of it. And when I did, they went poop, 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 and they took the seatbelt on after that. You can only be nice so long. I mean, it was better to do that to them than to hit a semi with it. You know what I'm saying? But they called me Batwoman after that. It's just an example. I didn't take any shit from my kids, and I keep seeing this now. Now, my son doesn't take any crap from his kids, and his son is 25. So, just like me, there was a 20-year difference between he and I, and he and his son. Bigger difference between his daughter, who's only 12. And so, yeah, none of us did that. We don't get it, but we see it. I see grandparents are being messed about. Me and my grandson went toe to toe once, and we was about to go knuckle up because I don't take that shit from nobody. I sure as hell ain't gonna take that shit from somebody who's related to me and who's this little bitty sweet pup at that. Yip yip. No, I will get a baseball. I will get a person to pay. You will not get away with it. You can kill me. You won't get away with it. I have put procedures in place, but I see it a lot. The one time that I went toe to toe with my grandson, he didn't quite back down as fast as I wanted to. And before I could pounce, my husband went slapped him. And he said, "Well, I think I passed out for a minute." But he didn't challenge grandma no more. After my husband, and that's his grandfather, popped him one. He said, "Don't you talk to your grandmother that way." And my grandson then realized, oh, my grandma's going to be pissed off for a while. She didn't get to tap me. And he knew better than this. He was already 22 or so by then. And he had to go then. He had been with us too long. And now you have to move out. And now he's great. But this was during the pandemic. They were locked down. They couldn't do anything. He just got out of the army. And he just lashed out. And that's a bad thing to do to me because I lash back. Usually worse than what the lashing in was about. And truthfully, I couldn't tell you what it's about, but I was about to beat him to death. So he's lucky he only got slapped by his grandfather, but he won't do that again. So again, I don't understand why people are going to do this. And yet, respect thy parents, thy father and thy mother. One of the commandments. We instilled that in our kids. We instilled that in our grandkids. Our kids instilled that in their kids. And yet I see that. So all of these little things, is my point, have risen to such a height with so much that I literally cannot say, it's not going to be a revelation thing. We're good. I really cannot say that honestly. Honestly, I'm like, holy shit. So hence I started looking for things maybe I should stockpile. It's amazing. Because we didn't suffer as much as some people did with supply lines and so forth. But coming from even adoptive parents, World War IIers, they didn't get sugar and stuff. And coffee. They couldn't get those things. So I switched for coffee. Although I do have a percolator you can put on the fire. It's just me. So I went to instant coffee like I did when I was by myself in the military and so forth. I've been with my husband a long time, but he doesn't really drink coffee. It's a very rare thing. And so finally I was like, there's just no point in me brewing a half a pot of coffee every day because I'll drink the damn shit all day long. So I had to cut me back. They wanted me to get back on the caffeine. So I cut it back to a cup of morning, just use the instant. It's working out pretty good. Except that my house seems to be getting like one of those hoarders with a lot of trash everywhere. Again, Not a lot of help with that. So for me, everything comes up off the floors, baskets of trash, all of that comes up and out of the way so it can be swept, Swiffered, wet jetted, bleached, mopped, shined. Wood floors get an oily. So this is a huge 2 day thing for me. And I hate doing it because when I do that, I start seeing it everywhere else. Now, my husband painted the house for me a little over a year ago. We still don't have pictures and things up. He's been in and out of the hospital, and I just keep forgetting to ask where the hell the nails are. I can't find them. They're in one of these boxes. So we just took everything back out of the pod and said, "Okay, we'll finish the rest." Well, we haven't done that. It's hard to put things up yourself. It's not a poster. You just pick up, take down, pick up. No, it's a lot of pictures, a lot of the life, and I'm like, ugh. So I've got to get on those. And as I said, the whole thing about the coffee was because I said, let me look into this and see what can be kept for a couple of years, what would last a couple of years. Well, rice, beans, things like this, powdered milk. And I'd already been telling my husband I was going to start getting some powdered milk for it to be dated a couple years out because we were surprised that we were still able to get milk and cheese and butter because that was something the parents couldn't get: sugar, milk, cheese, butter, bread, um, biscuits. We're a society that takes all that for granted, including my son. Although my son learned how to make bread, he learned how to make biscuits. He can do all that at home. They have a generator, so if they have to, they can continue on. We have a fireplace, so we'll just be like we're growing out, and we've done that. Um, so there are things, we have the oil lamps. We have enough to light the entire house up. You could see us from space. I have like 20, so, and we keep the oil lamp in and wicks. Well, you can buy them because I did notice that during the pandemic, those kind of supplies were not replaced as fast. They were replaced, but it would take an extra, say, 3, 4 months. When nobody was using them, you would get them reduced. But when people started using oil for lamps, it was another product that was kind of hard to find. Incense. I love my incense. So that bothered me too. So I'm trying to stock up on these little things. And oh my God, the prices nowadays. It's not just one thing that costs twice as much as it used to, like cat food. The day after they declared the pandemic, the day they declared it, I grabbed my grandson and ran to the grocery stores because I knew. He says, "Oh, you're panicking." I said, "You wait and see. We're 2 miles from it. So we're 5 miles away or 5 minutes away." I said, "You wait and see. There'll be people in there buying up everything they can find." Who knew about the toilet paper? And I was right. The shelves were already empty. And I spent $300 that day because I bought double of the pet food. And the next day, I decided I better go back, especially grabbing some more pet food and litter because ours are cats. Run up there and get it, and another 200 out the window. I mean, it was going that fast. That you don't have a lot of disposable income like that usually, but he was still working even though he was on disability. They're allowed to do so much. I didn't agree, so now he's retired at home, and I'm rethinking that opinion. So yeah, it was expensive and certain things you couldn't get. And so that was the thing for the coffee. I decided to start. That was the conversation I was trying to have with you, and I keep going this way and that way. Um, that maybe we should all look into that a little bit and maybe keep a few things: apple cider vinegar, coffee, powdered milk, sugar. For me, it's raw honey. I always have the raw honey from wherever I live, and luckily for me, it's been over a decade in the one spot, which is unusual for me because raw honey will help you with your allergies. And I have a lot of allergies every spring and every fall. I'm like, oh God, you know. So in summer, I can't break because it's too hot. In the spring, there's too much crap in the air. In the fall, I love it. Again, too much crap in the air. And by winter, you're cold. So I don't do the outdoors thing very well anymore. I used to. I used to go camping, all that stuff. Now I don't. It's a bit of a problem. And so I decided to say uh, that maybe everybody, not everybody, but go out, if you want to, fine. There are people doing shelters. Look at what's his name with Microsoft. Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to have billions, but it kind of worries me that these people with billions are building huge shelters. Huge. They're building underground cities, folks. I mean, there's tunnels. They're sending 18 wheelers through loaded with shit. Did you know that? Well, look it up. Google's got bloom and everything. Trust me. Yeah. I think something's scratching my head. I keep doing this with my chin. It's going on. My chin, my cheek. These are very good. I did mention that, right? If nothing else, check into it. This is what I did. And I did start to get a few of those items. And this is another reason I sent the hubby off. Um, he said, "Oh, roll down the windows." This was like Saturday. Roll down the windows. I do tend to have one of these every couple of hours. If I'm running around, if I'm with the kids, I take a break and have a little bit of this. I'm in the car, so I go, okay. The window motor blows. Windows down. Hasn't rained yet, but the window's strapped down. So we finally got it up and we're taped it up there. And he went and he found the motor last week. It's still ain't up. So another reason I didn't want to drive. Also, my car, because he has the whole inside of the door taken out to put the motor back and window work. Except now on my sensors, it says the door is open. Now, I don't know if y'all remember. If you've been with me this long, God bless you. Share, like. They like that stuff. It's an algorithm thing. The channel helps it out. And so, one time in my Honda Accord, and I love Hondas, and when he gets me a car, it's paid for. He just gives me the title and the car keys. I don't even know where the gas tank is most of the time. I'm one of those people who believe in mass transit, so I don't drive much. I don't like the traffic. I always feel like I'm in Mario Kart, and I was a little green lizard, Luigi. That was when I was picked. So, and you're a foot from people. They're doing 95. You're still doing 70, and people are up your tailpipe, so to speak. So it's not a fun thing most of the time for me. I tend to go early in the mornings because of the heat. And I still do that in the winter if I can. I try to let it defrost because you have the fog thing. I hate that. But it's Georgia. So you really, well, it's middle Georgia, basically. It's Augusta. We were in middle Georgia. We kind of moved up and to the right a little bit on the map, closer to the seas. Savannah was a lot of fun. My stepdaughter goes to Tybee a lot. I've never been there. I keep saying we're going to go. We have this huge RV that's like a Wonder Lodge kind of thing. You drive it. It's a football field. Yeah, I mean, this bitch is crazy. I love these things. Never thought I'd have one. I mean, you can live in these things, no doubt. I mean, just two people? Oh, hell yeah. I don't know where I put my shoes, but yeah, or my clothes. But I could negotiate it probably as old as I am now. The cats might be a problem. We have to get them all chipped and then stay in one place long enough to find them and get them back. There's got to be a cage or something you could put up. I have to tell Robert that he might be able to make one. Boy, he's a redneck. He's a Native American, so you wouldn't think that term would apply, but it does. I see my Tina Nolan. Hey, girl. Um, I hope that doesn't tell everybody your name. I didn't mean to shout out that way. I'll see if I can get back to you in a minute. I shouldn't probably have the whole bottle. It's just a tiny bottle, but I hadn't ate today. Who had time? I'm still trying to catch up from yesterday being off. This is my quiet time. I like that cinnamon taste. Excuse me. It's probably not good on camera. I give a shit. So I'm not, I'm not Joe Rogan. If I were, at least I'm prettier. Um, he's funnier. I know it's entertainment purposes only. And I will be here all week. And I do not make money at this. Help me. Talk amongst yourselves. So I don't think we're going to have this medium available for free to us very long. Yeah, we pay for Wi-Fi. Some people don't. There are hotspots. When I first started doing it at home, I hated it. I had AOL back then, America Online. Hated that bitch because I had to use it at work. Then went through college and universities and shit for like 30 years. I was tired. I give a shit what you. My husband kept changing my phone like every 6 months. I hated that. When 2010 came in, the sat phones came out. I thought it was safe. I've had like 15 phones since then. 15 years. About right. Oh, I don't actually panic now. I went to the grocery store. I'm 2 miles from the house. Went to the grocery store. First time I forgot my phone and like ever. I always wore it on my hip. These later big ones, I throw in my pocketbook. It's the one time my older Cadillac put me down. She needed a starter or something along that line. I had her for over 10 years and that baby cruised. Love that car. Miss it still. The transmission finally, she was over 20, 25 years old by the time I finally let her go. My husband bugged me for like 5 years, kept giving me cars. So we were insuring two cars for me, a truck for him, and there was the RV, there was the boat. Now it's the big RV and the boat and a motorcycle, the truck, and I'm down to one car finally for a long time. For like almost 6 years, I had two cars, not just a Cadillac. I had a Cadillac, then I got a Cadillac, then I got another Cadillac, and then I got a Honda, and then now I'm in the Chevy Cruiser. And it's only been like 3 years. If my husband says okay, it's got a new motor or whatever, he just won't do it anymore. Used to, he would just throw a new one in there. Now he'll just go out and buy another $2,000 car and work on it. I'm like, I get used to the car. Don't screw with the car. Don't sell the car. So I wouldn't do it, especially on the Cadillac, the old one, my gold key. Oh, I hated that. I hated that. But it was time. She was a gas guzzler, and then of course she was having trouble. In order for someone else to take care of her and everything, it was time for me to let her go because otherwise she'd just become a planter. People can't. I don't think a lot of people understand what it is. You buy the used car, you find out you're going to need a transmission or a motor or something. You're still talking a couple $1,000s more while you have no transportation. So it's a risky investment. And being married to a mechanic / truck driver has come in very handy in the last 40 years, I gotta say. I tell them all the time, you really aren't supposed to leave ahead of me. But if you're going to leave ahead of me, just know this. I'm canceling the insurance. I'm selling the vehicles because there's no point in all that money being spent. I don't drive that much. I could literally take an Uber every 2 weeks up to the grocery store and back and not spend a tenth of what I'm just on insurance alone, let alone the gas and upkeep on the vehicle. But the insurance is what kills me. No tickets, not a problem in 40 years nearly. This time, did you get any money back? I didn't. If you got some back, please put it in the comments and tell me how the hell you did that. Because it's a Ponzi scheme run by the government. You know that, right? Here in Georgia, if you don't have insurance, if your car is even down to get a new motor, which has happened, they will come and take your plates. Either you keep it on insurance or you can't move the vehicle until you go in there. You have to do a rescue title or whatever it is nowadays because the car is considered trashed. Those are fun. So if your car does break down, it could be a 2022. If it goes down for an engine or a transmission, I've also seen insurance for parts now. I don't know why we're paying insurance, period, because we don't get shit back. I don't drive 50 miles a month. And yet my insurance is just as high as my husband's on the truck. It's like 50-50. He has roadside and all that on me. But I think his is only like liability and no fault. But I'm a girl. I don't deal with cars. I came from an adopted family whose father did not allow women to drive. We had a big fight about that because you had to have it in school. Where I grew up in the north in Chicago, you had to take driver's ed. That cost money. He wasn't paid for that. I was a poor bitch, okay? So I worked at a little restaurant, a little steakhouse for tips from the waitresses. I would bust their tables for them. They would give me, if they made $5, they'd give me 50 cents. And so that's how I paid for that. Because he would not, that man did not bend about a damn thing. Can't say I blame him now that I'm older. He always said I'd understand it when I got older. He was right. So yeah, both our kids, we ended up, I think we bought them 3 cars apiece from the age of 16 to 21. Once they were 21, we kept them on insurance. They had to pay the difference, but we would keep them on insurance and so forth because it was so high for them to be on their own. But once they had kids and they were out there and they were 21, it was welcome to the real world. You're off the insurance next month. you have to cut that cord. People don't. I've met people who are almost 40 who still live at home. Now, my son would have just probably killed himself before he could put up with that. And I might have offed him myself if he had tried. I mean, I was one of those parents who was like, that my job's done. Get out. I will see you on high holidays, but get out. Nowadays, it's really like that. I see him maybe 10, 12 times a year because they work and they work hard and they work long hours. And I'm only an exit away, but I'm not going to be Everybody Loves Raymond. You can't just pop around on Friday afternoon with a souffle because it's their Friday night. And they've already got stuff going on because they got a baby. Well, she's 12, but still. Yeah. So I, if I want to see him, I can FaceTime something. But no, I've never been that pushy. My job's done. I did a brilliant job as far as I'm concerned. He is a handsome, wonderful husband, father, all around son. He's great. So is my stepdaughter. I've been very fortunate. And they have as well because they came from a school system that just ranked like 49th out of 50 states. I mean, and that was a high rating. I've got stories. Back then, I went to the school board. I got principals fired. I got teachers out. Nowadays, they just put them in the green room and arrest you for having a problem. My granddaughter is so unhappy with her school, and I can't quite relate. My son went through that. My stepdaughter went through this, but they graduated, they got their degrees, and they managed to do that on their own because when we were working, we were just working to keep them in the house and food and the cars and so forth. We all do that. And so they had to step up to the plate. If that's what they wanted for their lives, they had to pay for it because we couldn't do it. Our parents couldn't do it before us. Army chose them because you couldn't step out in my day in the 70s and get a job that paid you enough to where you have your own place, you had your own food, you had a way to go. You just couldn't make that. And if you could, you were lucky, but you just could not walk out of college and get that in my day. And I'm positive that that's the fact because I kept going home on leave and stuff and seeing friends and family still unable to work and graduated from good colleges and spent a lot of money. And in some cases, they've never used their degrees. In some cases, I've seen friends of mine for since I was 9 years old are still in the same house they grew up in. Their parents have died and left them the house, and they lived with the parents till the parents died. Oh my God, that was never an option for me. Um, I had an older brother and a younger sister, and they had a rough time of it. They kept coming home, and I saw that with my brother. And I was like, no way. And that was for me. That was the army. You went in, housing was taken care of, clothing was taken care of, food was taken care of, job was taken care of, education was taken care of. The only fly in my ointment was the fact that I enlisted as the WAC Corps, the Women's Auxiliary Corps. And when I landed, I had been shunted aside in a hotel for like 6 weeks. I wondered what was going on. Nobody said anything. We're like, okay, it's free food. So I was young, I hadn't done anything. So it was a big adventure. And found out when I got off the plane that I was now regular Army. The WAC Corps was disbanded, and I had Vietnam Airborne Rangers for drill sergeants. So you know how well that went, right? And I've got stories that would color your hair, let alone mine. That's why mine's so curly, I think. I kid. Anyway, I've been up here opining for like almost an hour. So again, it's for entertainment purposes. If you didn't like me, you just left anyway. Just at least leave the dislike so I know somebody's pissed off. I've done my job for the day. If you do see me, if you like the content, if you would like to engage, any of the above, I have live chat while I'm actually live on the air. After that, you have to throw it in the comments and hope I'm stupid enough to jump back through there because I'm not that way all the time. Most of the time, I don't even see the one I did the day before. I don't do that edit shit, which was obvious with the hole in the lip. I am who I am. I am who you see. And I hope that means that other people like us will jump up here and say, you know what, it's not right. We should be defending Israel. You know what, it's not right. We shouldn't be taking in 15 million immigrants because our veterans are homeless. Our people are homeless. People are starving. We don't have jobs. We don't have homes. We don't. Why would you take in several million people when you don't have that shit already? And we don't. We don't. These people, they will do this to me all the time. I'm terrible. We put a brand new television up, and my husband mounted it in the corner. And so the barn and all the whole area, we can see it. And that's great. However, I all my passwords are in a book. We had all this out in a pod, brought it all back in 2 months later. Now I don't know where all that stuff is. So I have no idea where. Oh, I forgot my little piece there. Can't I tell with this lighting? So I can't find all my passwords because I just haven't had 10 seconds to dig through it because I don't want to make another mess when I spent 2 days cleaning up that last mess. And once I get that clean, I'm outside cleaning that up because Robert's not doing it. He's waiting 3 months before he mows the lawn. It's been twice this year he's mowed the lawn. He'll probably get angry if he watches it, but the facts are the facts. Yes, he's not felt well. And I've been saying we need to get someone to do it then if you're not going to do it. This is the thing we baby boomers are facing, is that as we get older, we're stubborn as cuss, as our families used to say, and they were stubborn as well. But eventually, every one of our loved members had to pull back, had to get rid of their homes, had to sell everything in their homes, had to get rid of all the clothes, all that stuff, everything, because they could not keep it. They were too old and they were too ill. And even though living with family members, the family members had nowhere to put these items either. And so now my generation is looking at the same things. And I'm hoping that I looked at it a little bit better in some because we do have the RV. We did have a few family members that chose to do that. Um, you know, had estate sales and did the whole move into the RV thing before they were too ill, so they could see the planet. I've been lucky because I've been all over the world, and that was what also I loved about the military. Never wanted to leave, but you couldn't take your child to Korea, and I wasn't signing my child over to nobody. And so that was into that career after quite a few years. But that's all right too. I got a great kid, got great grandkids. So again, I've been fortunate. It's something though that does rear its ugly head, like in moments when I step out to like get the mail or something, and I look over, and I have dandelions that are waist high. Mind you, my neighbor is a landscaper, and his place is to die for. It's the one where it's out back. It's got this huge bar. He made it, grills, seating areas, umbrellas, TVs. It's one of those that should be in one of the home and garden books. It's just awesome. And he kept each year buying people to take down trees and stuff from another acre, and then it would be cleared, and his property would extend outwards. We could have done that, but we didn't. At the same time, you're looking at several $1,000s per tree, and we have a woods behind us, and so that it was one thing. They don't have kids, and then he got divorced, so he's only got himself. But we have grandkids, kids, so forth, and we just couldn't justify spending enough to put down a tree every other year. And so we did not expand out. And another reason for me, anyway, was that we just knew we weren't going to keep up with it that well. We were in our 50s, late 50s, my husband, when we moved here. This is my son's starter home. He and his wife, they bought a new home built to their custom, and it's gorgeous. God, it's a lot of money. Big, though, real big. And we bought this one because otherwise they couldn't finance both. Well, they could have. They made enough, but the bank wouldn't do it. And so we bought this one. And I think it's nearly paid for, thank God. But either way, we can't keep up with their things. And Robert doesn't like to admit that he's a hoarder, but he's filled RVs, he's filled our storage buildings are full. He has piles of tires, he has piles of stuff he hasn't thrown away. He bought 2 bikes. They're like 50 style bikes. They're sitting in the driveway rotting. He doesn't even have a tarpaulin over them. He's got 2 motorcycles. He got on one and fell off. I hope he doesn't watch this because he'll be pissed. But seriously, he doesn't need them. And when I mention that, it's, well, you have to get rid of what you're hoarding. I'm like, what? Your clothes. And I have all my clothes in one closet because he had such a fit about using the upstairs closet. So I took everything out. Same with the upstairs bathroom. Suddenly that, it's the women's bathroom. It's white and pink, for God's sake. And so I had to get everything out of there. And this is a much smaller bathroom downstairs. And for 10 years, I'd used the upstairs bathroom. And about a year ago, he just got stupider and I didn't want to deal with it. So I just took everything out. Fuck you. No, I'm not. Sorry, me. But men get very much stubborn, and so do women, as far as that goes. I mean, I'm unbending or unyielding in certain things. And so you just don't want to hear them scream and yell and cuss anymore. And I used to see this on TV and think, oh, I'm so glad that's not us. That's us. That seems to be every couple that's in their mid 60s. They're uh, almost knocking on 70 for my husband. He just they get uglier and they keep more shit. I have to get out to him about paper plates, for God's sake. He suddenly likes to deep fry his potatoes and has eggs, and he will drain them on a paper plate on paper towels. They didn't do that before they met me, but now they do that. And he will take the paper towel off and put that in the garbage and keep the paper plate styrofoam. It's like, what are you? It's like 2 cents a plate. Get over it. Then it's, well, it's bad on the environment. It's just hoarding. So I can already see piles, as I said, of things because he does this at every place we've ever lived at for over a year. This one we managed to keep perfect for 10 years, even through his cancer scare, which actually should have been more than a scare at stage 4, and he beat it. And now I'm like, ugh, because I don't want to really butt noses with him again. As far as I'm concerned, he pays for it, keeps the bills paid. That's not, anything but his own money that he's worked for on the side. So I really can't say that. But I can say I always drive him. He's stupid. He doesn't use the stuff. It's like every hoarder season episode I've ever seen. And I'm almost ready to call them. Not in the house, because I've managed to keep all the rooms clear except for the third room, which is supposed to be my studio. And I trusted him to put the boxes of books and the bookcases and the entertainment system up there, and that other things would come out and I would be able to go in. You cannot walk in there. He took everything from his semi truck and put that in there. He took everything from I don't know where, but you open the door and it's a hoarder's nightmare. The only thing different is yeah, you'd have to crawl in there. I don't know how he got some of the shit in there. I don't know how to get it out. So I can understand what hoarding's about, but you can't tell him that. So let's hope he doesn't watch this. If any of you have any good ideas about what to do with husbands who've gone just stark raving lunatic on you, throw it in the comments because I'm like washing my hands of it. It's not doing me a lot of good to do that, but at least it's something that keeps my blood pressure down. Because at some point he may get shot. I hate bullets. I mean, I have several weapons at my fingertips at all times, and I always will. I will die with a fucking revolver at least next to my side because this is a sad ass, badass world, and we all need to wake up and smell the coffee, which was my whole point today, in case nobody picked up on that. I guess on that note, I guess I'm going to have to get out of here. I keep saying I guess. So if y'all saw me, if y'all entertained a little bit, if y'all think I need to get off, what have you, bring it. Put it in the comments. They like that stuff. I'd like to keep the channel. In the meantime, be safe, be free, be good to yourself and others. Have a great day, guys. Toodles.